What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing? Welcome back. Another episode of Real Sports Talk Podcast with your host right here, Run It Up, Ro. I appreciate anybody who's tuning in right now as I'm on a hunt for 50 subscriptions so I can get into the live game and start conversing with you guys. But once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Um, once I start getting my equipment and the lighting and everything, all the effects of all those top tier podcasters that'll be coming in. But really, for me, it's just organic growth that I'm looking for. Just really want to get in touch and get in tune with how people feeling about certain topics that's going on in the NFL, NBA, whatever I feel like talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, welcome back. The NFL season is over. Today's Black Monday. People getting fired. People get still keeping their jobs. Interviews being requested. So it's a lot going on in the league right now. The teams are set for the playoff bracket. So that's really interesting. And actually, I wanted to start with that with you guys. Um, just going over a couple of the matchups. Um, you got Minnesota and Tampa Bay. That's a good one to me right there. I'm definitely looking forward to watching that one. I think Tampa Bay is sneaky good. I think Bucky Irvin runs hard. So with the right game plan, right philosophy going in there. Actually, they're at home, I believe. Yeah, they're at home. So that's a plus for them. Minnesota right now. I'm not saying Detroit, showed the kinks in the armor, but anybody can be beat any given Sunday. You got Washington at the LA Rams, the Commanders at the LA Rams. That game right there, um, I don't necessarily feel it like it's going to be high scoring. I do feel, I do feel like Washington walks away with a field goal. Green Bay at Philly. Green Bay at Philly. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I like Philly. I believe that Philly beat them in week one out there in Brazil. Um, I like Philly. I don't like Philly. Let me get that right. I don't like Philly. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I know I'm not rocking any gear right now, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Do or die. So I don't like Philly, but I'm respecting what they're doing right now. Um, you got Pittsburgh at Houston, Texans. I mean, I don't like Pittsburgh, but once again, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. But um, I would like to root for them because I am a fan of Mike Tomlin. I think they got some pieces, some veterans on there that deserve at least one more crack at a good playoff run. But however, their offense is suspect to say the least. I don't think George Pickens really runs his routes with any real enthusiasm, even if he knows he's not getting the ball. I mean, he's all they got. So if he's not putting out max effort, it makes it really tough. And then you got Russ last week. Um, that last drive to me was maybe a little indicative on what to expect going forward with him, because as a veteran, you got to know that scramble for that 2 or 3 yards, not even choosing to get out of bounds or throwing the ball away to stop the clock, you get tackled inbounds. Um, that took about 16 seconds off the clock, and it was just about overall execution for me. I thought he's shown that a couple times this season, as whereas he's not as sound as I feel like he should be. Um, so yeah, it's tough because Houston right now is shaky in their own right. Their offensive line is bad. I think C.J. Stroud is getting a bad rap. Not that he's playing like he did last season, but everything around him is crumbling, and I just feel like a lot is being asked of him. There's talent there. I don't think anybody will doubt that. But yeah, there's a lot being asked of him. That offensive line, I mean, I think I could make them draw a couple flags. It's not good. Um, So this one's tough. This one's tough. If you're a better, if you got a parlay out there, you might want to leave this one alone. You might want to throw something else on that ticket. Uh, you got the Chargers versus Baltimore Ravens. Now, Ravens are my secondary team, so I don't want to be a homer here, but I do think right now Baltimore is rolling at another level, especially if they continue to run the ball. I think that's ultimately how they surpass everything. That's time of possession, that's being physical and really just leaning and beating up on the other team. I think the Chargers right now with Harbaugh's, they're doing great. It was expected for me, really, when they hired him. I just think highly of the coach. I know the kind of temperament that he's going to bring to the team. I know the kind of vision he's going to have for the team. I think Justin Herbert is having low key one of his best seasons in the NFL because of Harbaugh. So shouts out to them. But I think Ravens walk away with that one. You got the Broncos going against the Buffalo Bills. Another tricky one for me, because Buffalo all season has been doing their thing, basically running over teams. But for the last, I would say, last 3 or 4 weeks of the regular season, they took some licks. I don't know if they're rolling into the playoffs with the same momentum. So for me, I think right now Sean Payton has Bo Nix playing on another level. I think he's playing above himself right now. Now I think he will grow into being a decent to above average quarterback in his league, because he's just soaking in the tutelage of the coach. Sean is just he's really sinking his teeth into the kid and getting the best out of him. So for me, this is a tough one to pick. Um, I think I'm gonna have to go Buffalo Bills just because I think the will and determination of Josh Allen will be, he's the X factor for me because not only will he pass on you, but he will run the ball. So I think picking up that 4th and 1, making the play downfield when it's needed to be made, I can see him doing that. I just don't want it to come down to a field goal for them. uh, but yeah, so that would basically end the little bracket right there for the first round of the playoffs. Sadly, my Dallas Cowboys aren't in it, but we're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to them. So yeah, it's Black Monday in the NFL. Coaches have been getting fired. People are being keeping their jobs. Fans are going crazy. Uh, and you getting job interviews requested and left on red. So we're gonna get to all of that today, right? So let's go. Hopefully everybody comfortable and enjoying what's going on right now. Appreciate y'all for being here for sure. So the final week of the regular season is over. Multiple teams already have begun their off season by, like I said, requesting interviews, hiring, um, not hiring, firing. Nobody's been hired right now. Firing coaches and retaining people that honestly should be fired. So there's a lot of things going on. First of all, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They fired Doug Peterson after 51 games with an overall record of 22 and 29. So that's not good. I mean, he went 9-8 in the first 2 seasons of his tenure there, leading them to one playoff win. But after that, it was just downhill. I like Trevor Lawrence to a certain extent. I think he's a above average quarterback. He's somebody just like my quarterback. He needs talent around him. He needs the coach to have a vision for each game and how he plays, how he can best execute each week. I wouldn't necessarily call him a gamer, but I think he can be execute on a high level. They retained their general manager Trent Belke. Excuse me if I said his last name wrong. And now I've tuned into a few podcasts of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually keep my eyes on everybody. So that's why I didn't want to start a channel that was just narrow to the Dallas Cowboys, although I will be talking a lot of Dallas Cowboys. But I wanted to have the freedom to talk about anybody that I felt like, and hopefully that fans tune in, listen to what I'm saying, and if you disagree with what I'm saying, holla at me in the chat. You know what I'm saying? All due respect, we're gonna keep it respectful, and I'm gonna definitely do the same. But yeah, they retained Trent Belke. Fans, from what I've seen, read, aren't really happy about the decision. Um, Honestly, for me, I think that they just need a fresh start overall. I believe he had a hand in bringing Peterson there. So obviously, there's a disconnect in the building. I think overall, they need a new um, leadership and overall vision for what's going on in that building. Shad Khan is definitely not one of the worst owners in the league. He's willing to spend money. I think, like some of the other owners in the league, he might have a problem with hiring. So that'll be interesting, and we'll be keeping our eye on that right there. Uh, you got the New Orleans Saints. They fired Dennis Allen a while ago. Um, 18-25 record, trash. So I mean, not much to say there. Darren Rizzi came in as interim coach. He went 3-4, which is second all time. You know, in interim head coaches for the New Orleans Saints. Basically, they need a guy, so they'll be, sending out interviews for the head coaching position. Um, I think that there are also some team that lacks vision. Um, Well, that could be said about a lot of teams. Um, New England Patriots. Now, I'm ready to talk about this one. New England. The reason why I have a problem with New England firing Gerard Mayo after one season is because the team was already dysfunctional when he got the job. And being a former player for the team, um, basically hand chosen by Bill Belichick, right? I just felt like that was more show. Maybe they weren't comfortable with the options at head coach last offseason cycle. Um, Maybe they were, wanted to give him an opportunity, wasn't real sure about the move, whatever the case may be. 1 year for a team that just had a rookie quarterback drafted, absolutely no talent at all to speak of. Um, I just think it's unfair. I think the league has a problem with the hiring and firing of coaches, because for me, if you take a first time head coach, he's automatically going to come with flaws. Not only did you make him a first time head coach, but he had limited time as a position coach. So every time you take a step up, there's things that you have to learn, you know. And Robert Kraft, working with Bill Belichick for all of them years, he must know that. So if you were going to put your trust and faith into and because it's deeper than just Jerron Mayo, it's deeper than that because they have a rookie quarterback. So how many turns over, is the rookie quarterback going to have to adjust to? This was Jerron Mayo should have the same amount of time as the rookie quarterback has time to develop. The length of that contract, that's how long Jerron Mayo should have had to build a core, to build a foundation for the team, for the franchise, if they truly believed he was the guy. So I don't believe they believed in him at all. I think he was a placeholder. I think it was a good story to run. Um, And that's truly how I feel about that because and for me, it's not a race card thing because it's really when it comes down to any coach. If you're gonna, if he was a veteran coach, it'd be different. If you're not liking what you're seeing, understandable because he's supposed to come with a level of fortitude to put things in a line. You know what I'm saying? But as a rookie head coach with a rookie running back with no other talent really to speak of, you have a little piece here and a little piece there. But other than that, it's wide gaps on any side of the ball. So what are we firing him for? What could he have shown you in the first year anyway? This is the National Football League. Good intentions will not win you games. You know, you can say you can coach the player up, but if he's not it, he's not it. If he's a backup, if he's a practice squad guy, that is for a reason. Now those guys do develop, but you can't ask a coach to win with a whole team of them. So the firing of Gerard Mayo, I think it was the most questionable call, and I just have one more point on that. I think Robert Kraft, I think the forces that be with the New England Patriots, I think they see something in Drake May. I think they see something in Drake May. I think that now it's about okay, who gets the success of that? Who is going to be able to okay, now that we're sure we have a guy, now let's pair him with. Because the point I'm trying to get at is if I feel is if Drake made showed more regression than progression this season, they might have retained Gerard Mayo. And the reason why I say that is because obviously you're uncomfortable with pairing Drake May up with a seasoned veteran head coach. Because if that was the case, why didn't you hire him in the first place? The firing of Gerard Mayo just makes absolutely no sense. But before I drag on about that, I'm just going to move on because, um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm running in circles with it, but yeah, it's shaky to say the least. Chicago Bears. Bears fired Matt Eberflus. His overall record was 14-32, so that was trash, probably long overdue. Um, there's a couple of head coaching candidates out there. My head coach specifically has already been requested an interview for, so Jerry has left them on red as of right now. No response, but we'll see if he responds to them before the 14th, which is when uh, McCarthy will be free to move how he wants. Um, Ryan Poles um, has been um, quoted as saying Ben Johnson might not be the right hire. My sources are saying, let me say that sources are saying Poles does not want Ben Johnson in Chicago. Chicago is on Ben Johnson's list, and he has already been stated as saying, quoted as saying, he wants his guy, basically. He wants the organization to right certain wrongs before taking over. Um, Basically, so I think that would exclude Ryan Poles out the door. That would kick him out the door. Um, so I think they have a lot to going on. If they want Mike McCarthy, they can definitely have him. I don't think Mike McCarthy is a bad head coach. I just think that he was brought into the Dallas Cowboys to execute on another level for us. And although he did bring us from 8-8 seasons to 12-5, we appreciate that. But we were requesting postseason wins, and he has not been able to deliver on those, as well as not giving us big games during regular seasons. We've been dropping against above 500 talent for the last couple of seasons under Mike McCarthy. So I think right now Dallas needs a few things that Mike McCarthy just can't offer us. But I think for Chicago Bears, a team that's in a half rebuild mode, um, a team with a going on a second year quarterback, who needs guidance, the right tutelage, and a vision for him. I think Mike McCarthy may be able to go into that system and to execute and to bring them to a 12-5 record, out the slums. So, I think his abilities can be utilized greater away from the Dallas Cowboys. So that'd be a great fit for, in my opinion, the Chicago Bears. Um, we'll see if Jerry answers the phone. They've been calling. Uh, New York Giants. Now the New York Giants, listen, they're in my division, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Um, the So far they're choosing to stay with Brian Dayball. They're choosing to stay with Joe Shane. And they're another team that I check in with the podcasters, seeing what the fans, the temperature over there is like in the building. And man, I can agree with the fans there. This is a questionable one for me, even having a chance like everybody did to watch Hard Knocks and to see the debacle, which was the Saquon Barkley trade. I mean, that has backfired in their face. And honestly, I think they were spared even bigger embarrassment when the Eagles versus the Giants with the final season of the game. So, yeah. Uh, Not really sure what they're seeing. I'm not really sure. And the reason why I say that about Dayball is because although the team was trash, I mean, he loved to poop on Daniel Jones, but I'm a believer in a coach's job is to get the quarterback, get everybody on the team to execute at the best of their ability. So let's use the second word of that, ability. So you have to utilize them in a certain way that best utilizes their ability. So Daniel Jones, I don't feel like is a quarterback that should be stepping back throwing 40 to 50 times a game. He needs to hand the ball off. They had a running back behind him. I believe their non-hits in the draft as far as offensive linemen is what stalled the progression of Daniel Jones. The reason why I will fire Dayball is because Dayball has not been able to get the best out of what he has been given. The reason why I will fire Joe Shane is because he has way too many misses and not enough hits. That offensive line in New York has been garbage for a decade. It's been a problem since Eli Manning was there. The last few years of Eli Manning. They have not been able to hit on an offensive lineman. Evan Neal right now, they don't know where they want to keep him in. Um, Left tackle, right tackle. They might have to play him at guard. The problem is deeper than the quarterback. The problem for the New York Giants is deeper than the quarterback. Now, I know there are a couple of hungry franchises out there for a quarterback. a franchise guy, win or lose with him, but they want to know when they go in on Sunday, that's their guy. The New York Giants are one of them. The New York Giants are one of them. The New York Giants have been said to, hey, they don't want to hire a black quarterback. They don't want a black quarterback out there. They don't want a black starting quarterback out there. Some fans will say, well, they did have Tyrod Taylor, backup quarterback, not a starting quarterback, not the face of the franchise quarterback. But we're not throwing any cards out here. We're not saying that's true. We'll see. It does happen to have like the two starting quarterbacks coming out of college this year are black. We'll see if they take one. Not holding their feet to the fire. If they like them, they like them. If they don't, they don't. It's just right now, people are saying that the two best quarterbacks coming out of college are Shador Sanders and Cam Ward. They have an opportunity to grab a quarterback this year. Let's see what they do. Now, there's other quarterbacks that they could get later in the draft, and it doesn't matter their skin color. It does not matter. But I will tell you this: if the New York Giants have an opportunity to draft Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, and they choose not to, and then they go pick a quarterback later on in the draft, which is they have every right to. But if Cam Ward or even Shador Sanders hits and their guy don't hit, you see what I'm saying? So that just bleeds into Joe Shane. And why should he have the opportunity to pick a quarterback to start this all over when in the 5 years that you have been there, your mark on the team and any part of that roster is almost non existent? I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not a Giants fan. But I've been a fan of content. So I watch everybody. I watch everybody. Yeah, I mean, if you can answer that for me, cool. If Why does he deserve to start the clock over again? When in 5 years, the team may be in a worse damn position than when you got it. Maybe it's not my business to know. I'm not going to eat anything that fruit bears, that tree bears, the fruit that the tree bears. Working on my sayings. I'm not Law Nation. I'm building a plane in the air, baby. Um, but yeah, New York Giants got to get that shit together. New York Jets fired Robert Sala, got worse. Gave all that money to Aaron Rodgers. All that money to Aaron Rodgers. Let him bring in everybody he wanted. Lazard, Adams, offensive coordinators. Trash. Trash. He's washed. I knew when he went to the Jets, it wasn't going to work. I mean, hell, he was how many plays in before he got hurt? We don't have to leave one hand. I think it was 5 plays, four, maybe six. I don't know. But I know it wasn't even the first half. Wasn't the first quarter. And then he proceeds to come in the next season, doesn't want to come to OT. We're not going to really get into Aaron Rodgers. It is what it is with him. Um, I think he's gonna go somewhere else. He's gonna bleed somebody else's pockets for a couple more dollars. But he has every right to. Shouts out to him. But the New York Jets firing Robert Sala. They now have a head coaching vacancy. It'll be interesting to see um who they get. They have Rex Ryan, always telling people he wants the head coaching job. Rex Ryan wants this head coaching job. for the New York Jets. I think they'd be stupid to do it. Shout out to Rex Ryan. It's nothing personal. I think going backwards is just not what it is for that franchise. I think being a fan of the NFL, I think it's time for certain teams to come up out the damn garbage can. The Detroit Lions right now have given the NFL added revenue, right? Because they're giving them revenue that was not coming in before. I'm glad for the Washington Redskins that they have a quarterback. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I can tell you that. Shouts out to Washington. Shouts out to Jaden Daniels. He's for real. He's for real. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to him for real. Shout out to Dan Quinn. Love Dan Quinn. Great guy. I haven't met him, but from what I see, Um, so yeah, when it comes to the New York Jets, I do think that it's a hot place to, for a coach to land right there. I think they have a lot of pieces. I think they have a lot of. For me, I think it's like you dumped out a puzzle box onto the table, and you got a whole bunch of good pieces, but they're all flipped over, so you're not really sure how to, put it together. So you got to get in there. The fresh head coach got to get in there, start turning over them pieces, right? Seeing what he got, and I'm sure somebody with a vision will be able to put that together. I think even with a above average quarterback in New York for the Jets, they can make a playoff run. Now I'm not going to say I said they can win the Super Bowl, but they have so many pieces. There is so many pieces on the New York Jets to play with and have fun with. Pause, but yeah, man. If I was a head coach right now, I think New York would definitely be a place that I'd be interested in. I think what's happening is we have a wave of young head coaches that are about to come into this league, but we have a lot of expiring head coaches excuse me, expiring owners in the league. The guys who give the final say in hiring the head coaches. I think they're still in the mentality of who the guys that they were hiring 15, 20 years ago. The Mike Tomlins, the John Harbaughs, just a different breed of head coach. You know what I'm saying? The Rex Ryans out there. So it was surprising that Bill Belichick didn't get an offer from anybody. But at the same time, I think it's showing you that there is a new wave of head coaching coming into the league. So it will be interesting to see who actually lands in New York. But I do hope that, whoever they pick is somebody that they can feel like they can stick with for some time and actually get shit off the ground in New York, because they got a couple people that I wanted in the draft from the past couple years, and hell, I want to see what those players could have amounted to over here wearing a star. So I need the Jets to get up off their ass and do something. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a fan of the NFL. So although I root for my team heavily, and if you catch me on a Sunday talking crazy, well, we gonna have to do what it do. But you know what I'm saying? I shouts out to everybody. You know, it's still, but shout out to everybody. I want to see the league. I want to see great competition, no matter what game I'm looking at. These people are making exorbitant amount of money. I want to see good level football. I don't want to see penalties. I want to see good level football. So that's me. So shout out to New York, the Jets. We'll see what's going on with them. You got the Las Vegas Raiders. Another interesting head coaching situation going on right now. Antonio Pierce has still been retained. It's not as though they have outspokenly said we're keeping him. He just has not been fired as of right now. Um, but another interesting team, right? That's Las Vegas, a great destination for fans to build a fandom. Brand new stadium. Another team with a lot of pieces. And still need some pieces, but they do have a core over there. A couple of rookie and a first year, second year tight end. Um, Two of those guys. So I mean, they have some pieces out there. Um, Max Crosby being who Max Crosby being, you don't really have to mention him, but so they have some pieces over there, and another team that's just really lacking the vision. And once you get the vision, I think things and a quarterback. Once you get those things in place, I think Vegas will be a great come up team next year. I can see if they make the right couple moves, because they should have a shot at a quarterback this offseason. So we'll see what that happens. But yeah, so that's the Raiders. The Cincinnati Bengals. So they haven't fired their head coach. Um, they haven't fired their head coach. They did let go of their defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo. Yep, Anarumo. Yes. And their offensive line coach, Frank Polak. So, they had to feed the fire somewhere. So some logs had to get tossed into the fire. The defense was atrocious for Cincinnati Bengals this season. Um, Joe Burrow obviously is one of those guys. Um, Jamar Chase is one of those guys. And it's a team that you get the right philosophy, the right vision over there on the defensive side, and I think things can start clicking now. As should Zach Taylor should have been retained? Um, I do believe so. I do believe so. I mean, he has the offensive humming. Now there is something to be said about their slow starts. So I think at this point it has to be on the head coach because you have OTAs, you have uh, excuse me, training camp. You have all this shit before you start the regular season, and continuously year after year, your team starts slow, and then all of a sudden takes off. I'm not really sure where the disconnect is in the first couple of weeks, especially when you're playing with a premier talent in Joe Burrow. So, um, be keeping your eye on that for sure and checking out and seeing if he. If I don't see him being fired at this point. I think if that was going to happen, it would have happened. And plus, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach. I think you do need to have the right guy in place. Um, I'm not sure if he's a defensive head coach at all, if he has any mind for that room. Um, so it must be difficult if you see the problem, but you don't have the answers of how to fix it. I mean, other than the hiring and firing of another man, so you're trying to, you know, give him every tool, yeah, everything he needs to get this stuff together. As from what I've heard, Lou is highly respected in the building, so it's not as though it was a fun choice. But having the season that they had, obviously, like I said, a log had to go on that fire. So shouts out to Lou. Um, so Dallas Cowboys been sipping on some Crown Royal apple. Shouts out to me if you know what I'm saying. All right. I had to take a sip on that one. Dallas Cowboys. Here we go. Mike McCarthy. 3 years, 12-5. Losing the playoffs like it's nothing. Every year, 5 years. Almost lead the league in penalties. So to me, that's coaching. To me, uh, like I said in my previous video, don't accept in a win what you wouldn't accept in a loss. So these penalties, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. That's my personal opinion. That's how I feel on a week in and week out basis when I watch my team. Mike McCarthy is a good head coach. I believe at a time frame he was a good enough head coach to win the Super Bowl. He had a way above average superstar and quarterback at that time, Aaron Rodgers. But for both of those guys, it's been over a decade since they won a Super Bowl. So we have to start looking at these guys for who they are now and not who they were then. If you look at Mike McCarthy's philosophy when it comes to offense, it's terrible. Last year, watching Sky, Vach, uh, Okoye, Foots, Shango, all these guys. Shouts out to anybody that I missed. You know, charge it to the mind, not the heart. I pay attention to a lot of people. I pay attention to a lot of them. And the sentiment that I got from a lot of these guys, you know, is that it's not it's not the below 500 teams when we face them do we have to worry about will we execute. It's almost as if, you know, anybody above 500 has Mike McCarthy scared. Because if you look at the things that he's willing to pull off in the weeks that we play teams that are below 500 versus what he tries to scheme up in the weeks that we play teams that are above 500, it's night and day. There's no consistency. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, bleeding blue and through. If you ask me right now, what is my team's philosophy? What do we do good? When times get hard, what do we call on? Shit, I couldn't tell you. That's the problem. That is the problem. After let's just talk about the 5 years you've been in. After the Green Bay lost 2 years ago, you had a problem. You was ready to hang. You was ready to hang Kellen Moore out to dry. That's his play calling. I would have ran the ball. You was feeding the media any little line that you wanted to separate yourself from what was ultimately happening, just to get the keys next year and not be ready. I don't know. I'm not religious, crazy like that. Believe in the Lord and everything. Not crazy religious. But I think we all know you can't ask God for something that you're not prepared for. You can't. Because once you get it, what happens? What happens? There isn't a bag to even put his hand in. He don't have a bag. He don't. The schemes that he's trying to run are so outdated. It's outdated. Run 10 yards, turn around. Show me your numbers. You got motherfuckers jumping the route. Hell, they might have ran the route for you. Give them the Cowboys jersey. They know what's happening. It's hitch curl. We won't throw a slant. Well, I don't know the last time I seen a screen pass. We can't execute those. Willing to give the team congratulations. Those guys over there, they do this and that. They executed better than us today. Of course they did. They do it every week. Anybody above 500, of course they do. So if we talking about Mike McCarthy right here, if we talking about retaining him, let his ass go. Plain and simple. Let his ass go. Let him go. I wouldn't. I wouldn't waste my time with it. I think everybody in the damn building need to go. The only people I'm keeping is Al Harris, and maybe one or two guys. Al Harris. I'm not even sure the other guys' names, but the head coach got to go. Mike Zimmer. I fuck with you, Mike. I do. No, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, because I'm tired of doing the same old thing. I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to do the same old thing. I don't want to do the. We're already losing. That's the thing about it. That's the thing about it. We're already losing. Let's stop trying to do it our way, guys. Let's stop trying to do it Jerry's way. Let's get a young blood in here, fresh mind, fresh new perspectives. You know, actually has a sense for the game for what it is, not what it was. What it is, not what it was. That's the kind of coach I need right now. So Mike McCarthy retaining him, if somebody is actually calling for his ass, I need you to pick that phone up, Jerry. Jerry, that's your sense of a good deal, isn't it? A motherfucker calling you, right? Pick that phone up, my man. Holla at him. Let him hear what he say. You say you want to talk to him. Hold on. Don't hang up. Don't even switch the phone on. Don't put that shit on hold. Slide that shit down the hall and let Mike pick that phone up. Let him go. When it come to Dallas right here, like for me, you know, I feel like it's a quick. It's not a quick fix. It's a quick fix. Dak is above average. You put certain pieces around Dak, Dak is going to flourish. If you check this out, we've never had two things that match. Let me show you something. We never had a run game matched with a great passing philosophy. We never had a good run philosophy matched with a strong pass game. Offensive line rotating in and out, rotating in and out, rotating in and out, holding on to guys. The Joshua Balls, the Matt Waleskos, roster eaters. Why are these guys on the roster? Space eater, space eater. I need them to go. I need a coach in here. I need a coach in here. Listen, Jerry could be a lot to work with. Jerry could be a lot to work with. I understand that. I understand that. Jerry needs to understand once you give me the fucking players, these are my guys. I'm gonna utilize them how I see fit. If he had a scheme to him, he would have applied it. I watched the games. I've put better game plans playing Madden than this man put on a Sunday with a whole week of preparation. For me, Mike McCarthy will get up on a post conference. He will get up there and tell you how the team wasn't ready to execute, not take ownership of it though. He'll get up there. He'll tell you how he himself didn't execute. That's not taking ownership. That's not taking ownership. I don't need to know what I already know. This team is dysfunctional. The Dallas Cowboys are dysfunctional. They can't get out their own way. I have a lot more to say about the Dallas Cowboys, and trust me, I will be getting to them wholeheartedly through and through. This offseason has just begun. I got so much Dallas Cowboys content coming out, y'all. It's crazy. From the draft, to seeing if we're going to do something in free agency. We got to hire a head coach. So there's a lot going on. I feel like this was a perfect time for me to start this platform. Um, I had thoughts of starting this platform years back. Um, but things happen, life happen, and stuff like that. But I've always stayed in tune to the content creators that are on YouTube killing it right now, killing it right now. And I just want to say, like, organically speaking, like, I know after making my first video the other day, right? Okay, the reality of now what happens? How do you get people to watch? That's the crazy thing, right? But for me, that's the fun thing about it, because I don't give a if nobody watch. Sitting here talking to this mic right here, this camera right here is therapeutic. This is what I love to do. This is what I love to talk about. This is what's going on in my mind. I'm sitting back listening to these content creators, talking to them like they sitting here in my living room. So I said, hell, let me give it a shot. Let me give it a try. And I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun with it. I love it. And I can't wait to see where this channel goes. Real sports talk is always going to give you my fresh opinion when anything or happening in the NFL, NBA. It doesn't matter. That's what I follow, so that's what I'm gonna talk about. I appreciate each and every one of you for like, comment, and subscribing. We're gonna grow this channel organically, and it's been a pleasure. It's your boy Ru. We out of here.